Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so excited to see you here at the Side Hustle Success Stories. My name is Adeniki McKenday, and as always, I am excited to bring you interviews of folks who are working 9 to 5, or actually, in Michelle's case, it's going to be 12-hour shifts because she's an ER nurse, but people who are working full time who are also doing side hustles. Again, I like to just share you want options in this life. And so having one source of income, one job with one source of income in the economy that we're looking at right now, in the world that we're living in today, you just definitely want to have more options. And so I want to bring you success stories of people who are doing it, showing you what are the benefits, what are the mindsets that it takes in order to get that side hustle going. And also just to show you people who are passionate about the work that they do. Because the one thing that we don't want to do, we don't want a second job when it comes to, right, you're not trying to trade more time for dollars. You want something that you look forward to, that you get excited to do, that you can honestly say, hey, I actually get paid to do this thing that I actually love to do, and I'm serving people at the same time. So again, I'm excited to bring to you my guest today, Michelle Wilkin. She is someone that I've had the pleasure of working with in the past as she stepped out and started her coaching business. And so she's now, like I said, fully involved in that business and helping folks and speaking, to corporations. And we just want to make sure we get the word out a little bit more about everything that she's doing. So, Michelle, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Pleasure being here.
Absolutely. Well, let's just jump off by, like I said, I always like to start off by saying, just share with a little bit about kind of, again, we know you're an ER nurse, but talk to us a little bit about kind of, your full-time job and kind of what that all involves and maybe what prompted you to start thinking about doing a side hustle.
So, like she said, I am a full-time ER nurse. And what really got my attention was when my dad passed away very unexpectedly, way too early, in my opinion, from heart disease. And I felt like traditional allopathic medicine had failed. Like I felt like I had failed. And so I felt like there had to have been something that I could do to prevent this from happening in other parts of my family as well as other people. I mean, I see it every day in the ER, people coming in and seeing some of the same faces over and over again for conditions that we know are preventable and reversible. And so that's really what kind of lit the fire underneath me to go get certified as a health coach. And then once when I got into that world, it was like opening Pandora's box, essentially. Wow. And so then I went diving deeper and deeper and ended up getting board certified in lifestyle medicine, which just has been so fulfilling. But it really helps me, I feel like, be a better nurse because, I mean, nursing, I got into it to help people feel better, live longer, healthier lives. And, when I'm in the ER, I don't always feel like I'm completely fulfilling that mission. Right. And so the health coaching kind of helps create that balance for me. So that's kind of how I got started into that.
That is awesome. Well, you said a bunch there. And so I'm going to, first of all, I am 100% with you when you talked about your dad passing. I had a similar situation happen with me, my dad, literally having never been to a hospital, literally really never being sick. Most of his life, he passed away suddenly. And while it wasn't related to heart disease, I was mad because it's like he worked all of his life. And I feel like, you're working hard all your life and then to all of a sudden just die at the end of it without being able to enjoy it. That bothered me. And it was kind of what got me passionate about helping people find happiness in the work that they were doing, so that they don't have to retire. Right. I felt like retirement killed them, just to be real honest with you. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that. And so I can clearly hear in your voice and from what you said that, you said when you got into the field and it's like opened up that whole box for you in terms of, the natural lifestyle and the natural lifestyle medicine. Talk a little bit about, the passion that you have for that field, and why you're so passionate about getting this message out to others.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword, honestly. You know, I feel like in some ways, big pharma has its place, but I feel like it shouldn't necessarily be every day.
Right.
You know, I can help people holistically through energy psychology and through nutrigenomics and good eating habits and exercise and sleep and all the lifestyle medicine things on a daily basis to prevent and reverse some of these things. But I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not naive and say, well, big pharma has no place. Because I mean, if somebody's heart stops, I can't shock you back in with, you know, acupuncture or an herb or whatever. So I mean, there is a place and a time for big pharma, but it shouldn't be every day.
Right.
And so that's, you know, a big component of it.
Yeah, no, I love how you said it in the beginning. You said it's kind of that balance, right? You know, understanding what part is prevention and reversal, and then what part, you know, there's acute, obviously, part where, you know, yes, you need, you know, these other things. And so I love how you kind of put the perspective in that. And then you also talked about even the balance in terms of your personal fulfillment. You know, so while you became a nurse to obviously help people, you know, there's some components missing that you felt like the health coaching would be able to fill. So talk a little bit about, you know, how that's fulfilling, you know, fulfilling that balance. Because again, I'm intrigued by this concept. I feel like you can really design, honestly, the perfect work for you. So, you know, maybe in your full-time job, there's one portion of it, but if you're not getting that fully, and that was my case as well, if you're not getting that fully, then you can't actually step out and find things that help you to kind of, that helps with that fulfillment piece. So can you talk a little bit about you know, that balance of really finding fulfillment, you know, in your personal career journey?
Yes. So you know, in ER medicine, it's, I don't want to say one size fits all, but it's very, if this, then that, you know, and you might have one or two choices, you know, this antibiotic or that antibiotic or whatever, but it's very limited. And in the health coaching, I can take an individual and be far more creative. You know, I can tweak it to, you know, you don't like to eat, I don't know, kale. Fine, don't eat kale. It's awful anyway. You know, you prefer yellow peppers over green peppers. Great, we'll work with that. So it gives me some flexibility and some creativity. And I am a very creative natured person. Before my nursing career, I was a professional figure skater. And so creativity is just in my DNA, if you will. And so I need that flexibility and that creativity piece to make me feel satisfied. And that's one of the things that health coaching enables me to do, is that I can take an individual and tweak and fine tune. So I see each individual person and their health as a piece of art, if you will. And it's a nuance. And, you know, somebody's body might respond really well to like a high intensity interval training and, you know, an Orange Theory or a burn or whatever. And other people are like, and they need to be a hiker in the woods or a swimmer or whatever the case may be. And so movement is movement. we're going to get what we need, but we need to make it something that's sustainable and enjoyable for the individual. And so that gives me, you know, the health coaching through the lifestyle medicine and all of that gives me that sense of creativity that I seek to feel fulfilled. And, you know, when I get comments from my clients that are like, I haven't felt this good in ever.
Yeah.
You're sending me before and after pictures and
Yeah.
measurements and things of that nature. And it's very satisfying.
It is very satisfying. You hit the nail on the head. I find that most of the people that I work with, they do. It's like they have an analytical side that, or a methodical side that maybe they do more of in their full-time role. But
Mhm.
that creates. I'm actually addicted to the creative part, Michelle. Just to be real honest with you, because you're right. Being in a coaching business, it does allow you to flex and be creative and really come up with unique solutions to your client's problem that maybe you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't have the flexibility to do in a full-time role because they require, a standardized, more standardized procedures. So that creativity is absolutely, that's real. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're very good at that. We've worked together in the past, and you are awesome at listening and finding those nuances that I may not have picked up on myself to fix or to tweak or to go directive. And so, that creativity and being able to evaluate that is a special gift as well. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, let's talk a little bit about kind of the mindset, because again, I've already kind of alluded to it, but I mean, in my mind, you work, a lot of hours already, with your nursing career. So tell me a little bit about what type of mindset it takes to kind of decide, hey, I'm actually going to do this side hustle as well. What kind of mental attributes will one have to have in order to make a decision to kind of step out and do something like that?
so, um, it's something that we learned in health coaching. And at first I thought it was kind of cheesy, but the more I reflect on it, the more it's real. I mean, like, it's true.
Yeah.
Knowing your why, like, why do you feel compelled to go this other avenue? Because it's not easy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Stepping out and doing a side hustle, it's not easy. It's not quick. There's a lot of pain points that you yourself have to go through to get to that point. So knowing why you're doing it is super, super, super important. I had a friend who said that it's not knowing your why would make you cry; it makes you angry. because that's going to fuel that drive to persevere through the rough stuff. And so I think it takes that big picture acknowledgement.
Yep.
And the story of what prompted you to look outside. And then picking something that is going to truly attach to you, not just, I'm going to go, somebody like me who doesn't wear makeup, I'm not going to go sell Mary Kay.
Right.
Because I have big, residual income goals, but that's not going to mean anything. It's going to feel more like another job.
Right.
So it's super important to find something that you're passionate about or that you can link to your passion. It may not be a direct, A to A kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if it's something that can link to your passion, at least, I think that's super important. So, that if you have an interest in financial health for somebody, and you see the value of helping people with their health because that saves money, on their insurance or on the copays or on the meds or days missed from work, things of that nature, you can still sell a nutrition product or a nutrigenomic product and connect that dot because you're helping them financially, indirect way. So long as you can connect your side hustle to your personal passion, even though, like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be specific. It can, if you can do a bridge connection, then I think that makes a huge difference as well.
Yeah, no, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. First of all, the fact that you brought up, hey, it's not easy, because you're right. Like I said, I think going into business, it's these days, honestly, it's not any really more risky than anything else in a sense. But it's a learning curve there. And so, that means that you're going to have some hard places where you're trying to learn what it is you need to know in order to get over that next hump. I tell people when I came into this, I knew my craft. Like I said, you know everything about being a nurse, and you're trained and certified. But being in business is it's a different animal, but you have to combine them both in order to be successful. And so you are absolutely right. It is not for the faint of heart. It's not it's not something you can just very lightly kind of get into it. So knowing your why is absolutely essential. And I love what you said. To your point, if you're selling something, but it's linked to your story, you understand, you have a passion for it on some level, you can really sell anything that you have a passion for and be successful in it. If you're getting into something just to kind of make extra dollars, but you don't feel it,
Right.
that's going to come across, and your bank account's going to reflect that as well. So I think that's pivotal, your why, and linking it to your personal story and your passion, absolutely critical.
And I think too, it's important to consider what's the cost of inaction. So
Yes.
you hear, that it's difficult, that it's hard, and you maybe crunch numbers depending on what side hustle you're looking to go into. But you have to think about what's the cost of not doing it as well. Are you willing to be where you are or worse in 5 years? Or are you willing to go through the sludge and the muck for a couple of years to see right on the other side?
And see, I love how you put that. That's exactly right, because there's cost to everything, the opportunity cost. And like I said, again, I think if there's one thing that hopefully these last couple of years have taught us is that, things can happen in the world that you have absolutely no control over, and then all of a sudden you're having to react. So it's better to think, how can I protect my family? What are some proactive things I can do to protect my family now, so that I'm not in a position where something is literally just snatched away from me, and then I have to scramble to figure it out. So there's always a cost. You're absolutely right, to any decision that we make. And so you just decide what cost you're willing to pay. So I love that. I love that. Okay. So my next question really had to do with when you decided to get serious. So at some point, I'm assuming, you were doing, your nursing job. And then at some point you said to yourself, hey, I really think I want to make this work, and I really want to kind of go all in with this side hustle. When you decided to get really serious about it, what do you feel were the two hardest things that you had to do?
One of the hardest things was to say goodbye to the consistent paycheck. That fear of, am I going to be able to do it?
Yeah.
I went from full-time, in nursing, full-time is 312, so 36 hours.
Yeah.
And I cut back to 2 shifts, to 48 to 24 hours a week. And that doesn't sound like a lot, one day, one shift, but it's huge financially. And so there's that fear of, okay, can I still make ends meet and give the attention to the side hustle that it needs?
Right.
So there's that transition phase where it gets really scary.
Yeah.
And so you just kind of have to really dig deep, and they tell you to dig your well before you're thirsty.
Right.
So making sure that you have that buffer before you take the leap, if at all possible. Now, in this economy, if you're just now thinking about doing the side hustle, it's not too late. But you're going to need to dig a little more aggressively than maybe if you had started 2 or 3 years ago. Right. And so you just have to, there's a lot of a mindset shift that has to occur. And the word decide is huge. Because you can say you're going to do it, and you may do the motions to do it, but until you decide to do it, then it's just a hobby. It's really not an actual income producing side hustle. It's just a hobby. So that that is a big thing. And choosing your side hustle, if you decide, there's a couple different realms upon which to go.
Mhm.
Whether you go with an MLM, which is a
Yep.
multi-level marketing, where you're not reinventing the wheel,
Mhm.
or if your side hustle is something like an Etsy store, if you have a talent or a gift or something that you can sell, um, you know, something along that line, or or another brick and mortar. But
Yeah.
brick and mortars take a ton of upfront money.
Different capital. Yep.
That's a lot of capital, and a lot of risk. Where going with an MLM doesn't have the intense risk, and you
Mhm.
have a support network. Or
Mhm.
if you choose the right one, you have a good support network. Some of them
Yeah.
are better than others, and you just have to find. You have to get in where you fit in.
That's true. That is
And
absolutely
so, for me, I had to learn to be coachable because, I am a master prepared nurse. I have all these certifications,
right.
this, that, and the other. I'm a well versed athlete, and so I had to realize and tell myself, you don't know it all. You need to be coachable.
Yeah.
And so that's part of that decision factor is, okay, wall has to come down. I have to be vulnerable. Teach me.
Yeah, no, that's good. Again, you said a whole bunch there because it's true. It's like, we've all worked our professions, right? And so we're experts. And that's our mindset. That's our identity in a sense. I'm an expert in this field. And so it can be hard to kind of put the pride aside and say, well, yeah, while I am an expert still in this new space, there's a bunch of stuff I don't know. And so
Right.
I'm gonna have to put the pride aside and really learn to be coachable, like you said, and really take direction. Because that's one thing I've learned in working with multiple coaches. Because, like I said, I'm always hiring new coaches myself because I want to accelerate. What they say is there's a lot of things that intuitively you think that's not going to work.
Right.
But they're like, you got to, just trust the process, trust that people have been along this path, become coachable, and do things that you wouldn't intuitively or naturally do because again that's that whole process of learning this new space and really being
Right.
able to take direction. So I think that is absolutely key. And the other thing that you said that really kind of stood out is you really have to learn where you fit in. What I like to tell people is honestly in this in there has never been a better time to do online business than now. I mean, uh, with even like every when I was in the career coaching space, I tell people the last year, every single client that I've had has said, "How can I get remote work?" Everybody wants to work from home. They want the option for remote work, and so this is the space that we're in. That people are moving away from brick and mortars, and they really are focusing on things where they can leverage their time and use the internet, to kind of make that money. So, getting in where there's never been a better time. I'm telling
The
people
great
in order to
resignation.
find, yep, to find this. And to your point, like I said, let what's going on in the world actually be fuel for you. So some people might be thinking, yeah, it's a little unsteady out here, it's unstable. So let that be the fuel for you to say, well, how can I find me a side hustle that will give me at least some sense of the fact that I can go in and make some extra money on the side and perhaps
Right.
even build that up to something more. So you just said so much there because again, I was in the same spot where you are when you're talking about you're making nice money. Okay. And you have to make a decision, right? And it's like something literally clicks on the inside when you make that decision. And you're like, this is what I'm going to do. I tell people it's like, God and the universe literally just says, okay, the decision has been made, and then things start flowing to you, resources and people and, did things just start to flow when you actually get off the fence and start making that decision.
Yeah. When things start to align, then that
Mhm.
flow happens.
It really
And
does.
you just you have to sometimes let go and trust.
That is the truth. That is the truth. But I mean, like I said, giving up income is, they call that you're putting action to your faith. It's like you're putting action to your trust when you're able. And like I said, I've done the same thing. So it's like, no, if this is going to work, I have got to be able to pull back and give some time to it. And so that means you have to weigh the opportunity costs, right? And say,
Right.
okay, I'm in this. And so that means I'm going to have to give up maybe making some extra income over here. So guys, what we're sharing, these are all, like I said, these are lessons that we have personally learned, and we are trying to share with you as you get out here. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything, but what we are saying that, there is reward on the other side, and we want to, put as much out there to help you kind of make the decision and decide to go ahead and get that side hustle going. So before, the next wave of whatever come hits, you want to, already have some things set up. So Michelle, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So last couple of questions that I do want to ask you is, how does your family, like I said, how does your family feel, and how do you manage, family and relationships and all that around a full-time job and a side hustle? What does that look like for you?
So when I first announced that I was going to start the health coaching business, my mother freaked out. Not because she didn't think I wasn't capable, because I have 25 years of coaching experience. The ability to coach is definitely there. I'm master rated as a skating coach. And obviously I have the health background being a nurse. I mean, so I'm marrying the two by doing the health coaching. She was fearful of letting go of that consistent paycheck.
Yeah.
As a skating coach, you're self-employed and you're at the mercy of everything, and so I think part of it was she didn't want to see me struggle.
Yeah.
And I can respect that.
Right.
But on the same token, as I'm becoming more and more successful, she's realizing that, okay, this may not be as bad, that it's okay, that I'm doing it intelligently, that I'm not just, running away from home and, being a little hobo kind of thing. So she's coming around, and we're now incorporating some of my health coaching techniques and skills with the skaters.
Oh, nice.
which has been a really nice and rewarding opportunity, and I'm grateful for that. And I'd love to expand on that. And my initial coaching niche was women's heart health, but I would love to dive more into performance aspects because I have that background, and would love to expand on that and have the opportunity to expand on that. But so she's coming around, and my husband is supportive.
Yeah.
He will come upstairs every once in a while. Like, are you going to come see me sometime today? I'm like, yeah, I'll come downstairs for a few minutes, or we'll have dinner together or whatever. So we do have to make sacrifices.
Right.
And again, we're not sugarcoating anything here. So there has been a lot of time sacrifices, but if you are truly committed to it, you map out your time. And so, you have these days when you're in the hospital, or when I'm in the hospital working. So you're working your traditional job. On your lunch break, okay, I can make these calls, or I can make this post, or I can, read this article, or whatever the case may be. And you work it in just like you would any other. If you make it a priority,
right,
you can make it happen.
And
that's the biggest. And that's like with health too. I mean, it's not easy, but if it's a priority, you'll figure it out. Right. You will find a way.
That is
and so, there's a lot of little nuances and tips and tricks as far as time management goes. And I'm sure you can share those with people as well. But setting alarms seems to work well for me. Setting designated timers, writing things out. I have a million lists. My husband laughs of all my Post-it notes. So time management is crucial. And everybody seems to be very supportive of it. Once when they saw that I was doing it in a rational path. So.
No, that's good. That's good. No, and to your point, like I said, our and I think we've all dealt with this. Our family, they love us. And so that love translates into, are you going to be okay? And so,
Right.
when they see us do something that maybe they wouldn't do because it feels like there's an element of risk, then yeah, it's their natural inclination to want to protect you from that. But to your point, it's like, I love how you shared that obviously, you're into the health coaching around heart health, but now you're seeing, it's amazing to me how your brain just begins to open up ideas about different ways you can now begin bringing in income when
Right.
you allow it. So it's like maybe you're giving up, a little bit of stability in terms of a paycheck coming in every couple of weeks, but then what you get on the other side of all of these creative ideas about how to make different streams out of your income. I mean, there's phenomenal potential
Right.
just in that. And so now exploring the performance area. I mean, literally, if you get it right, I mean, a side hustle, you can put in the work on the front end. And what it does is it allows you to have time freedom plus more income than your full-time job if you do it right, and you like I said, you're willing to sacrifice on the front end. So I love when you said that.
Yeah. And you tapped into something just now as well, is that the reason to get into a side hustle isn't always money.
That's true.
I have chiropractors and physical therapists and other healthcare providers on my team, and they're not in it for the money. They're in it for the time freedom.
Time freedom.
And so, it's not always about the money.
That's exactly.
That time freedom is a big one. As well as the money. Then there are some that are looking to start the side hustle because they want something that's like a legacy company that they
Yes.
can will to their
Yep.
children or grandchildren. So, there's a number of reasons to start a side hustle, and it's not always money.
No, it's not like I said, money, like I said, once you get that part right, it frees up everything. It makes everything flow. So then you have more time freedom. Because think about it. If you can bring in, six figures, or whatever, then like I said, you can take a month off and, go spend time with your family because, you got money in the bank. And it's like, it just gives you options that you otherwise
Right.
wouldn't have. So
Right.
no, I absolutely love that. Well, last couple questions. My last question is really, let's just say someone who's viewing this, either today, tomorrow, or somewhere down the line, Michelle, and they're wanting to know, okay, what's your number one piece of advice? So I'm considering this. And talk to those who are even in your profession, who are in, healthcare or nursing, and who are thinking, about, taking the leap. What is the number one piece of advice you would give to someone who is considering doing a side hustle? They're in their 9 to 5, but again, they are on the fence because they're like, kind of what they want to know what that payoff is. What's your number one piece of advice?
Right. So I'll speak to nurses just because that's my people's. But we got into this field to help people. And I think anybody in general has a mindset that really wants to help people. It's just on what avenue of life kind of deal. But I think we are under the misnomer that we need a million certifications, that we have to go back to school, that it's going to be, all encompassing, time sucking. And my advice, and this may be for some people, may not be for others, but I went into the health coaching first because I was angry about allopathic medicine. Right. But what I've learned is, because we don't get the sales and marketing training as nurses, we don't get the sales and marketing training as health coaches either.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a section that they talk about some business stuff, but it's not real sales and marketing stuff. I learned the most from my MLM. I had an awesome team who had been there before. We do some face-to-face, but we are mostly online.
Okay.
And so that taught me how, they gave me tools. They taught me how to do the reels. They taught me about the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram and all those things that I had no idea.
Right.
A whole nother language, if you will.
Yep.
And I had a team to support me. So they cheer me on, and they are my second family. And so I use my MLM as a springboard for my health coaching rather than the other way around. Some people go health coaching and then they, find product lines, more traditional medicine looking. You have your clinic and then you have your products that, you have on your pretty little shelf. And that's what I flipped it. I started off that way and I wasn't getting anywhere fast. Like I had a hard time finding people who were wanting to listen. And I found that for me, it was easier to lead with a product opportunity or something of that nature, and then explain and health coach back. So, here's what you're complaining of. Here's what I recommend. Here's why, and here's how we can expand on that from there. So I tend to do things backwards.
No.
That's what's worked for me and would be a piece of advice that would save people money up front, because I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on certifications and creating websites and doing all these things, and my MLM, I had all that handed to me, including a website, and they maintain it. I don't have to know the tech piece, which is beautiful, because I am not a tech person. So that would be my suggestion is get the cash flow with the MLM.
Yep.
And then as you get people who know, like, and trust, then you can expand out from there.
Oh, wow. Like I said, I'm gonna close it here, but I'm just saying what you said was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal finish, because you went where the fish were, and I literally just read a book where they said, yes, we're waiting for, sometimes in business, you're waiting for fish to come to you, or, you're looking for your fish, but you went to where the fish were. People who are obviously interested in what that product has to offer, they're already coming to that specific company. And then your credentials mean so much, because once you sell it to them and you're like, hey, now I can actually give you advice around your health, because I do have these certifications and I have worked in healthcare and I do understand these things. And so the know, like, and trust is like a double whammy in a sense, because they trust the product and now they can trust you as a practitioner in the healthcare field to be able to take them to the next level. So that is absolutely right. And again, the other thing that I just had to just say, I had to give you an amen on is, yes, when I first got out here, didn't have a lot of help and spent literally tens of thousands of dollars that I didn't need to spend, because I just didn't understand certain things. And so you have got to get with a group, a community where you can kind of get those things and really focus on what makes sense for you. So Michelle, that was a wonderful finish to an interview. I've just totally enjoyed, kind of hearing your perspectives, because again, I know that this is going to help a lot of people. And so I definitely want to give you these last couple minutes to just talk a little bit about the side hustle that you're involved in. And I put your email in the chat there, but talk a little bit about what you offer and how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah. So my company, my health coaching company is Firebird Health Coaching. And my coaching niche is I help women over 40 who are committed to preventing or reversing heart disease through nutrigenomics and lifestyle medicine. The nutrigenomics piece is the MLM that I speak about, and that company is LifeVantage. And I, as a medical professional, really attached to that company because there are PubMed third-party independent peer-reviewed studies on these products, including American Heart Association. And so that meant a lot to me to know that I was putting my license and my name behind a product and a company that has done the work and is something that I believe in. and have seen work, and it works. The products have brought value. And so, you can find me on my website, which is firebirdhealthcoaching.com.
Nice.
I am also on Facebook as Michelle Milliken Wilkin. Feel free to follow me there. I put tips in there. I also have a women's holistic heart health Facebook group. So I'd love to see people jump in there. But feel free to email me, DM me, and I can tell you more about my other businesses, and we can go from there and answer any questions that you have.
Nice, nice. Well, Michelle, first of all, thank you so much. I mean, you have dropped some gold nuggets, some gems, some diamonds, on this call. And like I said, I love how authentic and real you were. Like I said, no sugarcoating, but, just sharing. Here are the benefits. Here are the real, things you need to consider, the hard things. But again, I think like both of us would agree that, again, on the other end of that, the reward is well worth the things that you kind of put in on the top. And then again, that's the point. You need mentors and people who've gone the path before you in order to kind of give you these tips and help you kind of figure that out. So again, thank you so much for coming on today. Again, I will make sure that you have all the information to connect with Michelle on all of her socials, as well as her email account to connect with her directly. But again, thanks so much for joining us today on Side Hustle Success Stories. And we'll see you next time for that next issue. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.